So we're going to start a portrait project, and one of the first things you want to do is start thinking about who you're going to represent in your portrait. I suggest finding somebody that you admire, somebody that you want to represent to others, or someone that you just want to share through the experience of art making. Once you've decided on a person, you're going to need to get an image to help guide your project along. Now, if it's a person that you know, you're more than welcome to take a photograph of them using a camera or your phone or any resource that's available. But if it's a person that you don't have access to, maybe this is a famous person, a celebrity, a musician, an artist, somebody that you're not near, you're going to need to find an image on the internet. So I'm using images by Google, so images.google.com, and I'm going to search for Max Schaff. This is a skateboarder and motorcycle builder that I enjoy. And to be a little bit more specific, I'm going to actually look up for a portrait photo. So I'm going to come up with a few options, and one of the things that I really want to focus on is getting an image that mostly focuses on the head and the shoulders. We want to avoid something that's just the head. We want to have a little bit of extra that'll help the composition. We want to focus on including enough details and good resolution so that it's not grainy. I typically suggest 800 pixels by 800 pixels. Now, if you're taking a photo with a camera, your phone, you're going to be good. You don't have to worry about that. But if you're looking on the internet, photos come in different sizes, and we're going to use the use of Google Tools here to help us. So if you click on Tools in Google Images and go to Size, you'll be able to select large. We really want large images because these are going to have good resolution. As I'm looking through the images, I'm looking for ones that contain the head and shoulders, and most of these include that. Some of them have a little extra detail. I want to try to focus on ones that are mostly focused in on him and have a clear image of his face. I'm also looking for a balance of values. I don't want photos that are too dark. This almost gets a little too dark at times, or too light, because it'll be hard to get those photos distinguished. This will be another example of too dark. Everything's kind of the same value of gray, so I'm looking for some changes. I'm really drawn to this photo, so I'm going to click on it, and I see that it's 1000 by 1500 pixels. That's over my 800 by 800 range, and I'm going to right click and open the image in a new tab. When I open it in a new tab, I get the full size. That way I can zoom in, I can see it. He's got some different values on here. Areas of his cheek are darker, everything's clear, and I'm actually going to be able to crop out some of these extra things. So this photo is good to go. I'm going to right click, save image as, and I suggest labeling it so you can find it. So after you have that photo saved on your computer, you're going to want to resize it, and we are going to be using Photopea. So I'm going to go to photopea.com. You've had a little bit of experience with this in the past, and now we're going to use it as an image editing website / software. So to insert your photo into Photopea, you're going to go to File, and you're going to go to Open. And this is going to be a familiar process. You're going to find your image that you've downloaded, and you're going to open it into Photopea. Now, one of the first things we want to do is we want to crop this image. Our drawing surface is going to be 8 by 10, so we're going to keep that ratio. So the crop tool is over here. It's above the dropper tool. It's kind of like a square with extra edges or two L's overlapping. So we're going to click on the crop tool, and you have some options here. Now if you look up at this area, you have all layers, current layer, trim selection, but this drop-down menu with free is what we really want to pay attention to. We don't want a free crop. That allows us to crop any which way. What we want to do is we want to crop according to the size of our paper. So we're looking for something that's 8 by 10. So I am going to go to a fixed ratio. If we use fixed size, that's going to change it to the exact pixels. What we want is the ratio. That way we can resize it later. So for this, I want to do 8 by 10. Now, if you want to do a wider portrait instead of one that's straight up and down, all you need to do is flip those numbers, and it will give you a different ratio. And you can work with that if you want to do your portrait sideways. But I do want it in portrait mode, not landscape, so I'm going to do it so that it's taller. Now you'll notice that this has too much information for my photo. I really just want to focus in on his face. So all I'm going to do is grab the corner and drag it, and it'll keep that ratio so I can crop it. I'm going to leave a little bit of his t-shirt, crop some of these other details. I can move it around so he's centered in there, but I kind of want him just off center to this side. So I'm going to come in a little bit closer. So you're just going to use the fixed ratio 8 by 10 or 10 by 8 and find a composition that you are happy with and crop it down. Now we're going to be working at 8 by 10, and typically if you're going to print out the photo, I suggest printing it out at the same size as you're drawing. It'll make things a lot easier. You can transfer it one-to-one. What you're drawing is going to be the exact same size as what you're viewing. So if you want to change the image size, you're going to be able to go up to Image, and there's an actual image size option on here. So it's going to tell us the dimensions. Now currently it's in pixels, so I'm going to change that down to inches, and it's pretty darn close. It's 8.9 by 11.8. What I'm going to do is just change the width to 8. I'm going to tab over, and that'll make it 8 by 10. That will allow my picture to be the exact same size as the drawing area, so you can change that. So once you've cropped your image and once you have resized it, you're going to be able to download it, and I'm going to go to File, Export As, and I'm going to suggest a JPEG for this. And as always, increase the quality. You change the pixels to inches, you'll see 8 by 10 again, and I'm going to click Save, and I'm going to use this to complete my sloppy copy sketch. Now I have a good image of him that I can draw from and start to show what my final plan is.